to Maypole Farm, and June is quite a quiet month for us. All of the fields are ready. The grass fields are fertilized enough that we don't need to do anything. So we have a bunch of manure that we're going to sell. Between videos, I did get the hay bales off of the field, and I also got all of the slurry, or most of the slurry, sold. So going to lease this Red Rock trailer. I think I mentioned before, I have a slight affinity to these because a farm I stayed on a few years ago had one, and used to see it every day pretty much rolling out of the yard. So I've also borrowed the big Fendt from DS Agri to do the carting. So we have a fair bit to do, actually. Yeah, there's 200,000 litres of manure. I figured it was a good time to get it cleared out. It will bring some cash in as well, which is much needed because we do have a fun little project for later. And you will have seen from the thumbnail what it is, and it's linked to the video I did the other day on making custom cow pastures. That's what inspired me to make that video. Yeah, as I said, June is a fairly quiet month for us. The reason the main grass field doesn't need fertilizing is over winter we threw a whole load of manure and slurry onto that field, and it is still very high on nitrogen, so I don't think it's worth putting on the fields. And selling the manure will bring in a decent amount of cash. Bring a decent amount of cash. So I think most of this video I'm actually, or not most, some of it I'm actually playing live on the multiplayer server. The server has been up for quite a while and is still up, and there are not many baling contracts left at all. Yeah. And just looking in here, and I really need to, next time I take the server offline, I need to add in some better front loader buckets, because 1,000 litres is not really what we're after. I'm probably going to add in the Bresler Lund pack that I use on a lot of saves, because it has some decent sized buckets. I was looking around to see if I had it installed and didn't realise. So we're going to do a bit of work loading the manure up manually, and then we'll switch to using the trigger, because otherwise it's going to be well over 200,000 buckets of manure. So well over 200 buckets of manure, and I don't fancy doing that. So we'll do a little bit, and then we will switch to speed loading just to get it cleared. And actually that means I can put it on auto drive because we have milk to sell. And there's a few other bits and pieces that we're going to get done as well. So if I can leave auto drive running doing that, that's kind of a bonus. Partly while I was doing some of this, I did help out with a couple of baling contracts. It's always baling contracts. There's great demand at the forage dealer. I wish it would tell you what it was for, not just that it was a great demand at a sell point, because you don't view crop prices by sell point anymore. So I'm just going to have a look and see if it's anything that we have, because we have a pretty big excess of grass silage. We have all of the maize silage that we don't really need. So we do have a lot we could sell. So if there's a great demand for it, maybe we could sell some. So, oh, no, there it is. So it's for TMR. So, nope, we could make a bunch of TMR, but I'm not going to. We will hang on until maybe there's a great demand, or we need to raise cash. So we do have some big purchases imminently in our future. Combines, obviously, that's probably going to be in the next video that we're going to be buying the combines. The guys have been really working hard on DS Agri, and decided that we would sell all of the excess bales that they got from their baling contracts, and are in a pretty good position to be able to buy the combines that we need. We are also going to need some trailers for carting. The big Fendt is okay on the Red Rock, but I'm not sure the Fiat Agri might actually be as well. I'm not sure. It might be a bit small, but we're probably going to need 2 or 3 trailers for carting, maybe more. I'm not sure. So the Fendt is off on auto drive now, doing the job of getting the manure sold. So yeah, we do need to sort out trailers for carting crops. We do have straw enabled. I think I need to actually check. I should have checked before I started talking, but I can do it whilst I am talking. I'm pretty sure I enabled straw on some other crops on this map. And that would be kind of cool for the guys doing the contracts because it means they can bale more stuff. So I'm just going to have a quick look. I think I did. Yep, we get canola straw. Did I do any others? And soybean straw. So that's going to be a cool addition. I should probably remember, although they should be watching the videos, but I will make sure that I remind them of that when we get into harvest season. But we're just going to sell the milk. So we have a few cows producing milk at the moment, but we have 24 cows that will calve next month, which is partly why we're going to do the new pasture to lighten the load on the sheds. So because I want to keep them all at the moment, so that when we get to the point where some of the older ones stop producing, we've got a reserve. And if with the excess food that we've got, it's probably worth keeping them anyway, and maybe selling them when they're a little bit older. So it's not one that I've really checked on. Obviously for beef, it's not so profitable. So probably for dairy, it's not, because dairy cows are worth less when they are sold for or selling in this game. But yeah, it's possibly an option is we will keep them a bit longer and feed them up for selling to other dairy farms or wherever cows may end up when they are sold. Yeah. Something we do need to think about on here, because I plan to run this save for a long time, so we do need to think about replenishing the herd as the cows get older, and B, we're running the variant of the animal food additions where when cows hit 60 months old they will stop producing milk. So we're getting about £1,500 per load, which is not bad. It's going to add up by the time we've done many loads. But yeah, so we do need to think about having a stock of cows, and we're not going to get a calf until they're 28 months, and we do have some cows that are over 30 months already, so that is a thing that we need to be conscious of as we carry on. I decided that because we're not far from harvest, I think probably in July or at least August we will be harvesting. And as I said, some of the crops on here I added in soybean straw and canola straw, because in the UK those are quite often used for bedding animals down. So I thought that was a good thing, a realistic thing to do. And because we now have DS Agri, that's going to produce a lot of bales, because those guys are animals for any amount of work. So I can imagine them baling the straw on pretty much every harvesting contract. Most of that's going to be sold, but what that means is we've got the bales from the last harvest that we did tucked away in the corner on the left that you will have seen. So most of these bales are actually from our first year on the farm, and I thought because the stack had got a bit messy as well, I'd just sell them all, bring in a bit more cash. We do need to raise some cash because we do need to buy a plot of land. So yeah, I'm going to get a bunch of these loaded up and we'll get them sold. That'll bring some much needed money in. See, the money is going up because the Fent is working on clearing the manure pit out as well. I do end up getting the other Deutz going with the little West trailer that we've got. It doesn't hold very much. It's only about 12,000 litres of manure, but I figured that's half a load of the Red Rock, so it means we have to do slightly less loads, and it's quite a long drive, so in the end it did save some time, and I did get the manure pit completely cleared out, which is quite nice because it gives us a fresh start. In the winter we'll obviously be using it for fertilising our fields, and possibly for some of the fertilising contracts. Who knows? Again, occasionally the game throws out a manure spreader, which it won't on this because we've disabled that bit, but you know, maybe it could do some manure spreading on some of the fields. That would be kind of cool. I'm working on some stuff that literally just started chatting to the patrons about it, about doing some contracting work that's not just standard base game contracts, because just to add some variety in, partly for them, because, you know, they've been doing bathing contracts for 2 months in game, maybe more. And partly because I think it will make some really fun videos if we can actually get some of that multiplayer stuff going in the videos. So hopefully we'll see how that goes. This, as I'm speaking right now, is the last video I have recorded for the week. And the week is looking very busy. So much like last week, last week I think I ended up doing all the videos I wanted to do, even though one of them took me forever. The cow pen video took so much more work than it should, for a video that wasn't very long. But yeah, I pretty much, so this is the last video I have recorded. I'm at the wrong end of a very busy week, so who knows, there may be all of the videos I want, there may be a lot less. Yeah, it's just a busy period. Life is busy. I think I spoke about that in yesterday's video, so I'm recording this commentary fairly soon after I recorded that one, so I'm trying not to repeat myself too much. Actually, this would be a good video for it. Let's talk about the Giants alphabet, shall we? I don't know how you guys find mods. I generally don't use the in-game mod hub, even if I want a mod from mod hub. Generally, I will go on to the Giants website because I find it's a bit easier generally and a bit more responsive. And I can, you know, like, if I'm looking for a mod, if I know who created it, I can find another mod by the creator and then link through that. That works quite well. Let's just get these straw bales sold. That's most of them gone from that side of the shed. There are a couple left. We'll get those through the bale shredder pretty quickly. So not bad, you know, nearly $7 for a trailer full of straw bales. I'll take that at this point. I will take that. It's a nice bit of extra income given that we have some expenses coming up. And as I said, I've got the Deutz working now as well. So having 2 tractors running is going to speed up the process a little bit. This one doesn't hold as much, but with so much to clear, it was useful. I'm stalling on talking about the Giants alphabet topic because I believe we're about to switch to the main part of this video. You wouldn't think I edited this less than 18 hours ago. Yes, here we are. So this is the little forestry plot that we did own, and that DS Agri cleared of trees. And originally we sold back because we were going to let the farmer reclaim that land into his field. But I felt this would be a really nice spot for a pasture for putting some of the younger cows out to graze. So that's what we're going to do. So this is what inspired me to make the video on doing it, was I needed to make an animal pasture to fit in here. This is why I was particularly concerned about having fences. You know, you don't need the fences. The nav mesh defines where the cows go, but I thought it looked nicer. But I do need to do a bit of landscaping to make this nice. So I've done the bit of landscaping. It's not perfect, but it's not awful. Because this plot of land is on a slope in both directions, it was a bit of a faff. So I didn't show it. And there is some grass spilling into the road, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, you can see there's a couple of steepish slopes there, but overall, I was pretty happy with how the placement of this went. I won't tell you how many times I tested placing and putting this down and tweaking things, but it was a lot. It was an awful lot. So we're going to lease an animal trailer now. We have 12. They're about 6 months old. I don't know in reality at what age you would move cows out, but we're going to put those out in the pasture to graze for the next year, maybe more. We might have to do something in winter, obviously, because this is not a role play. It's not anything like that, but I'm playing on hard mode. And so we're going to lease this guy. It's £1,200. It's not too bad. So I'm not going to do what I've done on other saves, and I'm not going to leave them unfed. So even if we do leave them out in the pasture over winter, we will be feeding them. But I also think there is a good chance that if we, in reality, we would wreck that pasture if we left the cows out there over winter. So there might be a few months where we have to bring them back to the yard and fit them in the shed, or find some other way of housing them. So going to have to keep flexible on that one. But yep, so we have the 33 months old are the ones that are producing milk, the 5 month old there, and the 5 month old there. The other ones we were looking at are due to calf next month. So although they're not producing milk at the moment, I feel it would be irresponsible to dump them out in a pasture so far from the farm. But these younger cows, I think, will be fine. They will graze. If there's not enough grazing, we'll take over some food. I might just take over silage. That'll give them, or maybe silage and a bit of hay. That will give them most of their health. But predominantly, it's about them not dying. So I don't have enhanced animal system running on here, or the animal losses mod running on here, because of the other farms. So the other farms all have animals on them, and the ones that graze have food most of the year. The sheep at the other farms have produced so much wool. At some point I need to go into the save file and delete it all, because it's kind of annoying sometimes. Particularly on the main farm up where the manure point is, because it actually spilled over into the auto drive course. But yeah, so that's why I don't have that on, because I like but when we're going to we're not going to let them starve like I did on like I'm doing on Greenlands with the beef cattle, and like I did for a long time on Attingham. So we're gonna, although they're in a pasture, we're not going to ignore them. We are going to make sure that they have food to some extent. It might not necessarily be like 100% productivity, but they will have enough food to keep them healthy. This pen has the automated watering plumbed in, so we don't need to worry about bringing that over. Yeah, I just want to keep them healthy, but not have quite so much of a burden on feeding. And we don't have any pasture on the farm that we can use. So I thought this was really cool. So I did it. There goes the fence again. I think they're getting close to the last few loads of manure now. I didn't get any footage of the multiplayer to put in this time, but there is some for next time. And I think it's going to be July in the next video, and I'm hoping that there will be some harvesting going on. If not of our fields, of other fields. Everyone seems to love a harvesting video, and we have very cool combines lined up. So I think we might only keep them for a year, depending on if, it depends if DS Agri needs that many combines or not. So last load of manure going out. It's getting towards the end of the evening, so perfectly good timing. I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. Comments, questions, suggestions below, and I'll see you next time on Maypole Farm.